Last time at DroidCon we had a session right after the lunch, so it was a disaster. Actually, we had like 30 people or so, so we decided that this time we're not going to, it's not going to be right after lunch, it's going to be later. Well, it's good to be back in India. I really love this country. Well, yesterday when we were out here, there was a wedding. There was a wedding here, so I just enjoyed it. So, let's start. Sorry for being late. It's not because of us. The guy before it just got carried away with his talk. So today we'll be talking about application stores on Android. It turned out that some of the people didn't know that there isn't one, there are several. Also, we'll be talking about why so few of them are successful. We'll be talking about why we still should publish to successful stores. And the final thing, we'll try to ease your life by explaining a method which will help you to maintain your code if you publish to multiple app stores. I'll hold it. No problem. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. It's okay. I think I should take it away because people don't see me. So, to introduce myself first, my name is Timur Dyussebayev. I work at and one of the biggest European companies. We're still not that known worldwide. We were working at the stand today, and it turned out that very few people ever heard of the company. So what we're trying to do is trying to travel the world and explain to people. But anyway. So my name is Timur Dyussebayev. I'm an Android developer, currently focused on working with mobile operators and the device manufacturers again. So let's go. About the App Store, right? I know that there's been some skepticism among developers and the community, Android community in general, about the application stores. I mean, alternative application stores for Android. Well, every new application store is generally labeled as yet another app store. And I have to say that for the most part, they are true. Because I've been doing a review of stores and I've seen like 20-something app stores available, and most of them are not successful. And the reason why so many of them fail, if we take aside the quality question, I mean, the quality should be exceptional, the app should be great, the service itself should be exceptional. But there are a couple of different reasons. The first reason why alternative app stores are not successful is because they are alternative. What I mean by saying that is they are trying to be a second app store on the phone. That is, there's a main store, let's say Google Play, and they're trying to squeeze their store on existing ecosystem. So I've seen app stores that user needs to download, install on their phone to be able to download other apps. This sounds a little bit sick to me. I mean, you already need to have an app store. You don't need to download it. So the first point is make sure that your app store is the only marketplace on the phone or a tablet. So how do you do this? Well, you talk to device manufacturers, you partner with mobile operators. Well, do whatever you want, but make sure that this is the only app store. There is no others. And this leads us to another problem that we have. I mean, it's not enough to have an app store only and come to a device manufacturer and say, okay, let's partner with me, let's reinstall this app store. You need to have something else, like a set of quality services or some unique content. Whatever this is, but I mean, it should be some sort of ecosystem built around the store that can give value to users and help you persuade a device manufacturer or operator to go with your solution. So the second reason, lack of ecosystem. So most of the stores, they just take the application store and try to squeeze it on the existing ecosystem. So generally, it's Google Play. So just trying they're just trying to be the second app store on the phone. This sells, and the disadvantage is for both users and developers. So for users, it's like, okay, I have another app store next to Google Play. Well, what should I do with it? Go and register, start downloading apps. I already have Google Play for that. Why should I do this? I'm not going to do this. For developers, the problem is you get the very same audience that you already have in this case. Because this is one phone, I have Google Play, and I have this app store number 2. It's all on the same phone. So, I mean, you spend a lot of time and resources, let's say, supporting billing for this app store, yet it's still the very same user you're going to get in the end. So, very same audience. So, like I said, to make a right app store or correct app store properly made, don't be an alternative, be the only app store, which is only a couple of examples that I know today. And the second one, bring quality services, bring quality content along with you. So, like, come with an ecosystem. One single store is just not enough. So, the good news, that there are successful cases, and one of them is Amazon in the States. These guys ship Amazon App Store with their Kindle Fire and Kindle Fire HD devices. And I think they've sold around 7 million devices worldwide. But I mean worldwide, US states and some European countries. But this makes it the best-selling Android tablet in the world, based on Amazon services. So what they have, like I said, they made sure that their app store is the only one. They have Amazon App Store, no other stores in the phone. And they have their unique ecosystem. It's like a set of content that they have. They sell books, they sell magazines, they videos, music, I guess. So ecosystem we built around store on their device, 7 million tablets sold. So, like I said before, Yandex takes mobile very seriously, and just a couple weeks ago we announced Yandex Store. It's our own application store for Android phones, and we believe that Yandex Store may be one of the stores that I mentioned are successful. So people generally ask, like, what made you think so? Why do you think it's going to be successful? Well, first thing is we already have our mobile ecosystem. It's not that known outside of Russia and or former Soviet republics where Yandex operates, and Turkey as well started operating. And so basically I would say this is our first year we started international expansion, trying to tell people what we are, what we do, who we are, what we do. So we, like I said, already have our mobile ecosystem. So it starts with search, maps, mail, cloud storage, music applications, taxi, user interface. So a set of quality apps that make an entire ecosystem, and the store, which has been announced recently, is just the brick that has been missing there. And another thing to note, there are actually more than 200 countries in the world. Out of them, only 5 countries have companies with search technologies, and there are only 6 companies, or at least recognized by the users, that do search technology. So Yandex is one of them. So I really believe that this company should be noted, and this company should be known worldwide. So what I'm trying to say is, Yandex is big, Yandex is committed, and we'll try to do our best to make the store successful. So what is the benefit to a developer to publish the multiple apps? Because, like Timur, you just mentioned, 20-something unsuccessful stores, so how do we go around it? So the first thing, The first thing, like I said, is extending your existing audience, because you are not getting the very same users that you already have on the same phone. You're getting the new phones with the new users. So extending your audience is number one. For those of you who sell applications, and I believe most of you do, not just sell, but have some content that you sell inside, it's an opportunity to increase revenue. And well, if the first two arguments are not enough, it's a good way to try different billing options across app stores. For example, you may have a very successful free application on Google Play. It has an average rating of 4.5, and you decided to make it paid. You will end up getting 3.5 average rating and screwing up everything. So it's a good thing to try paid app and publish it to a different app store rather than going in Google Play where you have a good rating. Okay, this is all great. Sounds like I should go and publish, but there are some difficulties. Basically, publishing for multiple app stores, or app stores like I mentioned, with different mobile ecosystems, is very hard because of several reasons. First, if your application is not free and uses some billing APIs, you will have to write for each particular ecosystem. I mean, I'm not going to tell you a single line code which solves every problem. No, you will have to write code for each app store, unfortunately. And this goes not only to billing, because you may use push API, you may use maps API. This applies to those APIs as well. Also, you may have different billing options. For example, you may want to have a paid application, the other is freemium, and then the subscription-based. So this all adds to the complexity that you already have. So, how do we get started with this? Let's go. So we have sorry, this is the next one. So the first thing to know is when you are building for multiple app stores, you're definitely getting multiple APKs. Yesterday I was discussing with my friend who said, wow, why don't we just make one APK? That would be so nice. I mean, that is technically possible if you do reflection and stuff, but you will end up getting very, very dirty code, so I really don't recommend doing that. So basically, he said, like, what? Don't we use pre-processing some scripts and stuff? And then I said, well, that's a great thing to strike through, strike through pre-processing. Instead, we're going to be using library projects. So library projects is a great feature of Android SDK, which allows you to take the common code of an application and take it away to a separate library. Generally, you would make a library with reusable components, which technically is still a project from the Android point of view. But you also can take the entire application and make a library out of it. So it's like 90% of your Java code is going to library project. It's going to be reused. And the main projects will contain the billing code. For example, let's say Google Play application is going to be one of the main projects, and Amazon is going to be the other project. And your main code is going to be the library project. If you use native libraries, using define will be enough because library will be copied to main projects automatically. The only thing that you will need to handle manually are the assets. You will need to copy them manually, so this is basically the only product. So, also, library projects can be used for such things as customizing the build. For example, I think it's reasonable. It makes sense to change the application name for light and paid version, for example. So you may have an app name light and just app name. So name will be changed. The other thing you may want to change is the app icon. For example, on the light application icon, you will have a small light sign, I don't know, some sort of differentiation. Also, application configuration, for example, you may want to use different IDs for analytics or so. The most important thing is the package name. If you're doing in the same marketplace, if you're distributing your application, it should be unique. So if you're doing another app, let's say free, it should have a different package name.
So this still comes out as a single APK file query each store.
Yes, single APK store for each file for each store. But I mean, here I also talked about how to use library project to customize the build itself. So, for example,
the library is still bundled with one APK file.
Sorry?
The library is distributed inside the APK. How is the library installed? See, ultimately the library is being called from the user's device. Your app on the device is calling the library, so which means the library is now bundled as part of the APK.
Yes, technically it's a jar, but I mean, you cannot compile a library to an jar. I mean, Android. I mean, in the context of Android, it's not possible, but technically, I think yes, it's a jar. It's a public jar. So here's an example. Most of Russians they are not premium with English, so we decided to make this small application like English language learning. So this is like the Amazon version and the Google Play version. So like you see, the UI is consistent, everything, the colors are the same, but there are some differences. For example, the icons. So this icon is for Amazon, this is for Google Play. I mean, we just decided it's going to be clear for you, but yes, you can change the icon. The name is also different. And the rest, as you can see, is the same. So basically, this is an example of how it looks like. So let's go and see. There are basically three main things we're going to customize. So the manifest, manifest code and source. So let's skip to manifest. Okay. So what are we going to change in manifest? What will we differentiate in the manifest? Well, the first thing is the package name. We're going to create different package names. Another important thing is the application implementation. Basically, it's the application class is the entry point for customization. That's where most of the customization is going to be done. We're going to create newly qualified domain names for all the application components, and also billing and licensing components, because they're different in different app stores, are going to be in the manifest. So this is the Amazon version. So we have a different package name, then the application class name, Amazon application, the receiver. What else? That basically the activity is going to be the same across app stores. So this is the Play version. So what's different? The package name is different, the receiver, the service, and we also need a permission for Android Store or Google Play. So this is basically the application class. This is what's going to be in the library application. So we're going to extend this class in Amazon version, and we'll have a method. We already have it here. For some reason, yeah. So this is basically the abstract method purchase that we're going to override going to implement in both versions in Play and in Amazon. So this is an Amazon version. So basically, some implementation specific to Amazon, and the next, the implementation specific to Google Play. So also we're going to change the fully qualified domain name for application class. We're going to change the icon. We're going to change the label for both versions. Okay, next thing to note is the purchase method that is being shown here. The method that's going to be called is coming from the exact. No, that's not the thing. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so the method, the purchase method is being called is going to be exactly what we need. So it's going to be either Play version or Amazon version, so regardless of the invitation place. So this is a little bit boring. So this is like how to change resources. So library, you have the English name, you just don't use it. And Amazon and Play, they different. The one is English Amazon, the other one is English Play. Just to see that you can change resources. Oh, we're pretty fast. Okay. So this is basically. I want to show you how it runs. I would say on live on the device, but unfortunately, I'm going to show it on the emulator. And there's problems with building code running on emulators from the Android market. So I'm going to show you the one running at Amazon. But anyway, so everything is visible. Please can see something. Maybe I should get it off this or something. Okay. Okay. So first, let me run the version that we prepared for Amazon. I had time launching the emulator, but okay. The emulator is down, unfortunately, guys. I guess we have the whole hour just to tweak the emulator. Okay, I will.
You can scale it while it's running.
No, I need to scale it before I started, so I actually scaled it. I didn't scale it. That's my fault, I didn't scale it. Scale it here.
It'll scale now.
No, it's basically scaling to 6 inch.
Or maybe just turn it off so it'll fit to the screen size. Yeah, if you launch now, it'll just take the full screen, whatever's available.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, this is my bad.
Happens to the best of us.
Okay, yeah, let me launch the Amazon version. I hope it finds the emulator and successfully launched. Okay, so this is the Amazon version that I've already shown you. See, up and running. So let's say I want to purchase this upper intermediate level as well. So basically, this is an implemented version of this application for Amazon, so it's with Amazon billing. So it's going to be like the real purchasing. So okay, I purchased, and I unlock the upper intermediate level. Well, works fine. Like I said, with Google Play, it's a bit different. It's not going to work on emulator. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, I think I already put the breakpoint here, yeah, on the purchase method library application. So I'm just going to show you what happens if I try to do the Play version. So it's going to be invoking the correct version of purchase method when I click on the desired level. So this should be triggering the purchase of the application. So that's what it's doing. It's triggering the Play application, which is great. So back to the manifest. Like I said, we're customizing the application. So as you can see, name, label icon here. The Amazon version is different. It's also different than the Play version, which is super nice. And the main thing, yeah. So you can see that. So the library is basically is a library and a library project which contains all our common code, 90% of our application. And these are just general projects, Amazon and Play, that have an implementation of billing for our app. So in the end, you end up with one library application and two main projects. One library project and two main projects which implement the billing. So in the end, you have it nice and clean. Sorry for this thing with the emulator. So back to the presentation. Yeah, that shouldn't have done it. That kind of screwed up. So, as a small resume, why try this? Yeah. Like I said, those of you who care will get the new audience. Those of you who sell will get the additional revenue. And those of you who are not interested in first and second, we can try it with different billing options, just like for the sake of experiment. The demo I've just shown you should be pushed in this. It should be available in the GitHub tutorial. We're going to push it later. So just look up this link, and in a couple of weeks it should be there, maybe earlier. Basically, that's it. So if you guys have some questions, and I hope you do, I'm sure you do, please go ahead and ask, and I will try to repeat them, because we only don't have a microphone. Yes?
Could you switch back to your demo?
Sure.
So all of the business logic of your application is inside that library, right?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Yes.
So it's a regular Android project.
Yes, it's a regular Android project. You can. So let me show you. You actually. Yes, in project properties, you say that. I mean, you declare. Okay, not that word. You declare that you are a library project. Yeah. So yeah, library is only one with the main code, like you said. Yeah.
I just thought it would be a jar, right? So.
Well, like I said, you can actually read the documentation. Library project cannot be compiled to. Yeah, you either cannot build an APK out of it, and you cannot build a jar out of it. So it only can be used as a library to other Android projects.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all of the business logic of your application is inside that library, right?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Any other questions may be related to stores, what you can publish, etc.
Yeah, so I'd like to hear something about the Yandex store itself. What kind of an audience does it have?
Yeah, first, when people ask like what is the difference between you and other stores, I try not to say like a difference, and I try to put it this way: the distribution way, how we're going to distribute it. Because we're definitely starting in Russia. We already have 3 vendors and 1 mobile operator, and we didn't even start because it's going to be launched in 2 months' time. So the beginning is definitely Russian because we have Russian roots. We know we have friends in Russia. We know a lot of Russian companies who we'll be partnering with. But Yandex's general strategy is international, so we're going to be working hard, and that's a lot of work to do, believe me, because it's a really competitive thing. So yes, like I said, we're going to be talking in partnering with handset manufacturers and operators and try to distribute our ecosystem along with the store on them. So for the developers, it means that you will get, like I said, a new audience.
And how big is the market in Russia itself? In terms of how many mobile phones or how many smartphones?
I can tell you the stats about Android. I think as today, 4.5 million Android phones are available, and that's like 4 times the stats from last year. And it's going to be growing, and I think it's expected like at 8.5 million devices next year. Android count. Yeah.
Just for the sake of comparison, does anyone know how many Android phones are there in India? Okay, that guy there should have an answer. Sindhu, how many Android phones are in the market in India right now?
Well, let's call up office.
How many of you guys have published an application to an app store? Okay, and so any of you published to an alternative app store? Amazon, right? Amazon. How's it going for you guys?
It is good. It's been long. Like 2 years back, we had launched it with the 1.6 OS, and since then we didn't upgrade, but we've got like around 1,000 downloads for paid app, and free versions around more than 50,000 downloads for free version.
How does it compare with the Play Store?
Play Store actually didn't go really well. I don't know why. We didn't find the reason because we moved on from that product.
Okay.
But it wasn't as good as Play. For sure.
Okay, so Play was still doing better, but that should be obvious because
it was a very good. I mean, we had launched it for the 1.6 Android version, and at that time it was very easy. So
And what's the nature of the app? What does
it's
it
an
say?
IDP client for Android. It was one of the initial remote desktop clients for.
Oh, okay, I see. Good.
You had mentioned push in one of the slides. Well, what do you mean push notification?
Yeah, I was talking about push notifications.
Okay, you provide your own push notification.
Well, I have to be fair with you, but we're still doing it. That's why we're trying to gather a lot of feedback from developers. I mean, what exactly they need. So yes, push definitely. We will have push API. We already have Maps API, billing API. We'll have apps. This is definitely yes. We're going to have this.
that's actually an interesting question. So if you're not using the Play Store, do you still get Google push notifications?
Yeah, that's the problem. No.
You don't. Okay.
So, like I said, building for multiple app stores is hard. I know in the beginning I said, guys, it's hard, but there are some tools that will help you at least maintain your code, not to mess it up.
If you are developing a free application, then would the difference between multiple app store be much of a sense, or is it?
If you're developing free apps, basically you can just go and upload it. Because the main challenge, like I said, is the supporting billing, supporting push maps, etc. But if you use maps, you will have some challenges. But if you don't, the most important thing here at the beginning was billing. Because if you have a paid app or you sell inside an app, that's crucial for you. But if you have an app without this and without maps, it should work okay.
How would registration to Yandex, is it free or
It's completely free. You can go to developer.yandex.com. It's free. Takes from the point you enter the website and the point you publish the application, like 10 minutes. You don't pay anything. Create an account, publish. That's all.
Will there be any review for an application to get it published, or the server wants to publish that?
Yes, we will have some sort of review, of course, but as of now, I think there is no review to accept everyone. We're just starting, you know.
Can we do it right now? Or do we need to-
Yeah, you can actually go. If you have some questions, please come up because we're going to be at the stand the whole day tomorrow. So if questions pop up, please come up.
I had a question, Timur. Do you charge something as a total versus Google does?
We would have like a classical 70-30 app, but truth be told, if I controlled it, I would give you 100%. Really, but it's not about earning money on developers or so. It's different. I mean, we're trying to promote, we're trying to grow our ecosystem. So this is a vital part of it. But maybe we will change these numbers. But as of now, it's 70-30.
Are there any specific guidelines you have? Like, Google has got its own guidelines if you want to put it on in Google Play Store. Do you have any specific guidelines?
Well, what Google does, they have the API for the billing. They have guidelines about the icons and stuff. You mean this one? Icons, descriptions, screenshots. This is the question. What kind of guidelines are we talking about?
Like, the app, should follow those guidelines for putting it on the App Store, right? So,
You mean the graphics?
sorry?
I mean, there are different guidelines Google has, so I was wondering which exactly do you mean. For example, for icons, for graphics.
There are certain Play App Store guidelines. For example, your application should not do something in your mentions or something. So
Okay.
if it does, the
Security guidelines.
Okay, I understand. Well, we don't have it now, but we'll have it later, yes. But I mean, there are some obvious things. Okay, don't post this and that, adult stuff, blood, death, mutilation. Don't post that. I think this is like common sense for people.
All of that is allowed on Android. It's allowed on the Play Store.
Oh, really? Okay, too bad.
What was the tool that you were using in Eclipse to actually support those different?
That's not a user.
That was the but anyway. What's the question? The tool?
No,
There was a-
you can have an Eclipse.
No, it's not a quiz. Basically, guys, I think, how many of you have heard of IDEA and IntelliJ IDEA? Yeah, this guy is basically started in St. Petersburg, my hometown, so I'm very proud. So yeah, that's not a quiz. Any other questions?
As most of the people, those try to use anti-solve from Russia, so are you expecting as a Russian language to be the solve language?
Well, let me put it this way. In the beginning, like I said, school started in Russia, and I have to be fair with you that the first several months, yes, mostly your users, if you publish, are going to be Russian users. And that is, like I said, we're not that good with English, so I think localization plays a crucial role. I mean, the app should be localized. But on the other hand, we're talking about any app. We're talking about any app store. I mean, if you sell it in Google Play to Russian audience, it still should be translated. So I would say take time and try to translate to like the most popular language. See the stats, try to understand. Any other questions?
Are there any plans of promoting this? For example, if Microsoft comes up with their Play stores, they have given some first 100 developers something, those who are getting good ratings will get some answers. Do you have any such kind of plans to promote your apps?
to promote the App Store? That's a good question. Well, generally it's developer events around the world, talking to networks, talking to mobile operators. So this is just one part that we're doing, is talking to developers, trying to explain what's in store for them. And yes, we have business development guys who work closely with them. I mean, but we don't do this, this huge shiny ads like Play Store or building any sort of. We don't do this in this sense. So, that's it, right? Okay, thanks for coming down. Sorry again for this screw up with the demo, but I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask offline, please come up to our stand. We'll be glad to answer them. Take care.